that's important to know your numbers. If you don't know your numbers, you can't get to your goals. Have a goal, know your numbers, how to get to your goals, and build yourself a plan on how to do that. Not everything's going to work. Okay, a lot. 80-20 rule. 80% of the stuff you do is not going to work, okay? But the 20%, keep on pushing the 20%. I think it's the biggest hurdle, is knowing and believe that you can actually do the work.
Le domaine du courtage est en constante évolution. Dans une ère technologique où le changement est presque assuré et inévitable, il faut plus que jamais rester à jour et s'adapter aux tendances innovatrices de notre domaine. Vous voulez apprendre des meilleurs courtiers hypothécaires et immobiliers du Québec? Vous voulez devenir un leader dans le courtage? Voici le podcast qu'il vous faut. Les courtiers du Québec avec Seroujane Kenishalingam.
Bonjour tout le monde, j'espère que vous allez bien. Aujourd'hui, j'ai la chance d'être avec un président, le CEO de groupe Orbis, Teddy Kiris. Bonjour, comment ça va?
Bonjour, ça va bien toi?
Oui, ça va super bien. Aujourd'hui, on va mix it up. On va le faire en anglais, français.
Franglais, c'est ça?
Franglais, exactement, franglais. Teddy, je vois un peu ce que tu fais. I know what you're doing. You're doing great things with Group Orbis. You have there's a freshness on the branding, on the branding.
Yeah.
And I really like it. And I want to pick a brain. I want to pick your brain and see how everything goes and bring values to brokers that are listening to us. So yeah, tell me about you. Like, who are you actually? And let's start from there.
So thank you for having me. Merci beaucoup pour que je sois ici. Je te suis sur LinkedIn, Facebook et j'ai regardé vos vidéos souvent, vos podcasts souvent et je pense que ça amène beaucoup de valeur au domaine hypothécaire et c'est vraiment bien, très professionnel.
Thank you.
Alors, no problem. Alors, oui, on a un cabinet qui est un petit peu unique et c'est ça que je voulais quand j'ai commencé Orbis. Je voulais quelque chose qui était pas comme les autres bannières. Et c'est pas pour tout le monde. C'est pour des certains courtiers qu'on veut qu'ils travaillent ici avec le même mindset et qui pensent de la même façon. Alors, c'est ça que j'avais une vision quand j'ai commencé. Je viens d'un background, je travaille pour une banque.
Une banque?
Oui, je travaille pour Banque de Montréal de 2007 à 2018. Alors, pendant 11 ans. Et après j'ai fini l'école à McGill, j'ai commencé tout de suite à BMO. Puis éventuellement, j'ai commencé dans succursale. J'ai commencé au début, puis après ça, j'ai monté les échelons. J'ai devenu un directeur de services financiers. Après ça, j'ai devenu directeur commercial. Je faisais les prêts commerciaux à la Banque de Montréal. Et après ça, en 2009, j'ai décidé, moi, je veux commencer comme un spécialiste hypothécaire. Et je veux vraiment faire le saut dans une position vraiment à commission seulement, avec aucune garantie, aucun salaire de base, mais j'étais prêt à ce date-là de faire ce saut-là.
And look at you now. Now after 3 years, things are great.
Yeah.
You have around 45 brokers that are coming in.
Yeah, on the pipeline that are coming in, doing their stage,
Congrats.
or currently working. Yeah.
And you said that, like, we were talking off record, you said that you started and you just built, like, you opened this agency at the same time, the cabinet. How do you call it in English, a cabinet?
A brokerage.
Brokerage.
A cabinet.
Cabinet, okay.
Calls it a cabinet now, but it's a mortgage brokerage. Yeah.
So yeah, you didn't just start as being a mortgage broker, and a couple of years after start your own company. You did it like right away.
Immediately. Yeah.
Wow, that's an ambitious move.
Yeah. Well, listen, I had a really good run at BMO. First of all, I had the best training I think there was in the mortgage industry when I worked for BMO.
Yeah.
And I have a great respect for the bank, and I had some great mentors there that helped me gain a lot of confidence. And at the end, I had a machine. I actually had almost like a brokerage at the end where, yes, I was only BMO products, but I did have a whole team behind me.
You were saying like around 6 assistants.
Yeah. So we had
at
the end about 6 assistants. I was at BMO. We were funding probably we were approving probably 700 deals a year, and
wow. And how much is it on a volume basis?
So we were approving about like 250, and we're funding about
250,000.
250 million. Well, 250,000 deals would be great, but 250 million of volume, and we're funding about 140 at the end. We did a lot of the builder projects and a lot of realtors. So, but I had a great team. I couldn't do this by myself.
Yeah.
And I had a good base, so that's why I was able to say, tu as fait le saut directement pour une cabinet. Oui, j'ai fait le saut directement parce que j'avais comme une très bonne base. Et j'étais capable de vraiment assumer les coûts pour ça parce que j'ai planifié pour faire ça parce que ça commence, il a des coûts fixes.
Yeah.
OK. Et aussi, j'avais le volume qui rentrait. J'ai fait ça pour 10 ans. Alors, j'avais une bonne réputation. J'avais le volume qui rentrait. Alors, j'étais capable de même le supporter comme ça. Mais,
but you were making a good living with BMO.
I had a great living, yeah.
Yeah, and you wanted to do something else.
Yeah, I had a vision. I had a vision of what I wanted, and I had my license. Actually, I got my license before becoming a mortgage specialist. I got my license I got the old license with the OSIC, real estate agent, mortgage broker, commercial, everything. It was like a license. I had all three. I did it with my brother-in-law and my stepbrother. Actually, we did it all together. The course. And I didn't know what I wanted to do. After the course, I was like, you know what? Let me jump into being a mortgage specialist. I did that. So I had my license. And I was always intrigued by the profession. My father-in-law is a mortgage broker as well. So I would speak to him and see how the profession was. And, I was always intrigued by it, but I wasn't, I was doing very well. There was no reason for me to leave. B, I was comfortable. I was, making a pretty good salary and pretty good income. It's all commission, obviously, at BMO, but a pretty good income. And so there's no actual reason for me to leave. But then I saw a vision of, I always wanted to make the change, but I saw the market changing, the economy changing, the banks were changing. In 2007, 2008, banks would have basically approved anything. They had every program, would approve anything. Somebody wanted to put X amount of money down, the file would be approved. As the years went on and OSFI came in and different changes in the market came in, the banks, and it's normal. They were concentrating more on specific programs that they have. It was almost a cost culture where, their commission changes are happening often. And so I did see that there was changes happening in the industry. I did want to build something else. I always wanted to build something else. I always wanted to build my vision of a brokerage. But, how was I going to do that? I think that with the changes happening, it was the right time. Now, this is all before the AMF came in. So I did not have any vision saying, the AMF is coming in and, that I'm doing that because of that. This is strictly because personally, I believe that, the industry is going to change. I went to the United States. I saw the U.S. Mortgage Brokers Conference. I actually spent, I think, 3-4 days there. And I saw how things were being done in the States. And I said, that is probably going to come here. And the States is usually 10 years ahead of Canada, Quebec. And I said, that's going to come here. So,
and what was the difference?
Technology. They were different pricing based on credit scores, which we didn't have that back then. Now we sort of do that, right? If you have a 680 or 720, FICO score, you'll get sometimes different pricing.
Yeah.
You don't have that anymore. Like you had that in the States, 5-10 years ago. You had multiple lenders. You didn't have that many lenders here back in the day as well. Now there's more and more lenders, and I think more and more are coming into Quebec. And the technology was incredible in the United States, what they had. And now we're just starting to touch the technology piece here in Canada.
And what do you think that we're so behind? Is there any reason?
I think the banking system has a lot to do with it. I think that there's 6 banks that really have a stranglehold on the industry. And now we have more virtuals coming. But again, virtuals are backed often by the banks. So, the banks are part of it. So there's less institutions. There's less funding in Canada than the United States. There's a lot more funding. So that creates more products. That creates more competition. And I believe that, they've invested a lot more into their industry than we have, right? They have a bigger population, about 350 million people or so. And so, there's a lot more market share. There's a lot more money there, and it costs money to invest in technology. And we're just touching, I believe, the tip of it. I think there's a ton more to come. There's a lot more technology that's gonna happen. That's gonna change our industry and change how a mortgage broker acts. It's no longer, the deal gets refused, so let's call a mortgage broker, and that's the only deal that they can do. And I think there's a ton of different value that a mortgage broker can provide, and it's even more. I'm personally, I'm happy the AMF is involved with our profession right now. I believe they bring professionalism to our industry. I believe that they bring structure. We are operating essentially a bank model, right? And we are responsible. We have, inspection reports. We have different reports they need. It's a complete different atmosphere right now, and I like that because it's bringing security, bring like value to the brokerage field.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's long term. That's the future of the business.
I was saying to some I was having these conversations with someone else, and I was talking about like how mortgage brokers are getting more popular with realtors, because realtors are more they directly send business to the banks. And because I know Remax is opening their own brokerage. They already opened the Remax 2001, I think, and I was happy about it because people, like some brokers, were like, I'm gonna lose business and stuff like that. But I was really happy about it because now realtors are seeing how valuable is being a mortgage broker.
Yeah, and not only that, from the market share perspective, which you mentioned, and that was one of the things I actually viewed when I went down to the U.S. To Denver. They have, I think, 52% market share mortgage brokers in the mortgage market in the United States.
Okay.
I believe in Ontario it's in the 40s, early 40s, 41, 42, and here in Quebec, again, I don't have current stats, but I think it was like 21% before the AMF came in. Now, I personally believe it's going to increase the market share. Now, the AMF has accelerated that, I think, with the commission changes to realtors that completely changed our market. Yes, Remax, some different franchises at Remax are trying to open their own brokerage, and that's great. It's great. It's great for our industry, and I think that the wind is pushing towards us. Obviously, there are the big banks behind it, and they do have a great mortgage sales force, and so it's not going to be overnight that's going to be changes. But with technology, I think with COVID, it actually encouraged a lot more people to use mortgage brokers because no longer are they really walking into the banks and the branches anymore. They might call people. They might call a broker who has access to all the institutions. They don't want to, walk into a bank and potentially get COVID. So they really want to be safe. And so I think brokers have like a lot more, just with that environment is better for brokers. So I think a lot more responsibilities on the broker shoulders. The AMF is aware. I believe that we're getting, we're looking more long term here.
Yeah.
And again, when you said, why did you start up right off the bat, and what was your vision? Is I really wanted to bring a hybrid brokerage that is between a old school brokerage to what a bank is, right? So we want to be in the middle. We want to be a structured brokerage that is not bureaucratic like a financial institution is, and there's they're very structured how they are, but I wanted to bring a lot of structure, a lot of compliance, to a lot of respect to the brokerage field, and being able to have a long-term vision of what I want to do with this banner, and that's why I want to be independent. I don't want to be tied to any other banner or any other vision. I really want to create my own vision because I had my own vision in my head what I wanted, and it's really a hybrid model between the bank and an old school brokerage there.
Understand. And how different was when you were like processing deals as a mortgage specialist with BMO, and now are you still dealing with the files? Are you?
Yeah. So as the company's grown, obviously I'm doing less and less deals, and it's more internal referrals. My brokers are doing the majority of the deals. But let's go back to your original question, which is how different it is. It's extremely different, right? When I was a mortgage specialist,
like a lot of mortgage specialists are listening to this because they're curious about if they want to get into the brokerage field.
Yeah. Yeah. So we when I have a lot of mortgage specialists are joining our firm, and that's probably our bread and butter that believe in this structure. You know, on our end, it's when I first started as when I was a mortgage specialist, obviously I knew all the policies at BMO. I knew everybody at BMO, and I was able to understand what they will approve, what the time frame is. I had a lot more control on the deal. Now, and then when I speak to clients, I spoke with as a mortgage specialist model, which is, this is the product that we have. This is our rate. We'll try to get you the best rate on the market, but this is what we have, right? And push that. Now, when you become a mortgage broker, it's no longer, for me, it's no longer a rate question. It's not what is the best rate on the market, which a lot of people try to start their conversation with what's the best rate. It's really what's the best product, because we do have a ton of products for you.
Yeah.
And 1 basis point or 5 basis points difference between a 184 to 189, the minimal monthly payment difference. It's not it's not a rate discussion. It's, well, these are these type of deals. These are virtual lenders. This is standard banks. This is, we have a step where you have a lot of credit. There's many different aspects. How much money do you want? Some banks will give you a better rate, but you have 70% financing, while another bank will give you a little bit higher rate, but you get 80% financing. How the offsets at every bank work. So when I started as a broker, I had no idea the different policies of the banks. I had great support from Toronto because we are part of CIMBIC, the Coalition of Independent Mortgage Brokers Canada, and the coalition, and especially John Burgess and his team down there. They really supported me, and that was great. But again, you're here in Quebec; it's a little bit of a different industry. It's a different culture completely, and I had to really learn the business. So I made a strategic move at the beginning where I was brokering all my deals, and I was really concentrating on understanding the business, learning the bank policies, bettering my relationships with the banks, and really understanding the differences in the culture. Because I can't teach somebody how to be an amazing mortgage broker if I didn't understand it 100% to the T here, right? So really, I did that for the beginning, and then I'm like, okay, I'm good. I'm top comp for all the institutions for compensation. I have my knowledge, I have my relationships. I'm good, and now I want to build my culture. I want to build my vision of my cabinet, of my brokerage, and I really focused on growing that. And that's why we went from maybe 10 brokers to now, we're hovering around 45 that are coming and so forth. We really grew in the past 18 months because I traded it as a business and not just my transactions. You have to decide what you're doing. Yeah. Are you brokering deals, or you're actually building a business? And I opted to build a business. And that's really, I put my effort into that, and not only bringing on new brokers, but bettering our business. There was changes last year with the AMF, so adapting to the AMF changes, that was a huge amount of effort on our front, and increasing each broker's volume. So all of the brokers, all of them, their volume has increased year over year, all of them, and it's really, they've done excellent work, and I think we brought a culture that is helping them give confidence themselves and increase their volume and going out and getting leads. And it's a culture that pushes for growth, for your own personal growth, and getting the maximum out of you.
Je vais revenir sur comment tu aides les courtiers hypothécaires.
Oui.
Avec ton cabinet. I was dying to ask this question. Do you miss BMO? Like, you lost them, right?
Listen, BMO is. Do I miss them? I think I still have great relationships there.
The reason why I'm asking this is because we don't work with them anymore.
Yes, we don't work with them anymore. Hopefully one day they're going to come in. I'm optimistic that they're going to come in one day. Again, I don't have no inside information on that.
Come on, Teddy, tell us.
But I hope they're going to come in one day. I think that they would be great in this market. I think that they would get a great amount of market share in this market. I have great friends there, so I obviously miss those friends, and I have great mentors there that I still. I still speak to some people at the bank, but no, it's I think their policies would be great. Sometimes their policies are excellent for specific clients. They're a really great fit, And it's not that it's it's not competition.
No.
They have their own niche of clients.
The
that they
reason
want,
I ask you because you left BMO, so it's the right question.
Yeah, but we left on great terms, and so it's not like we have great conversations with them, and
Definitely.
yeah, even right now so I'm a part, like I said, I'm part of the coalition of independent mortgage brokers Canada. The president of the coalition now, he's the next running the mortgage specialist team at BMO for all over Canada.
I wouldn't ask the question if you were with TD, because I know you work. we do work with TD. Let's go back to the mortgage brokers. So you're really helping mortgage brokers to get a higher volume every year.
Yes.
How do you do that? Like, how are you helping your mortgage brokers? And mortgage brokers are listening to this, even though they're not with Orbis. I want them to learn about this conversation. So
yes, of course, and I'm all about learning, right? It's you don't have to work for my brokerage to learn, and it's on mine. I think that a lot of the brokers, it's the mindset. It's not that they don't know how to calculate mortgages or they don't know how to. It's really the mindset of pushing through your limits and surpassing what you believe is your maximum. So I get brokers say, like, I've been doing 10 million for 5 years in a row. Okay, so why can't you do 20? Well, I do 10. No, but and we helped them think past that level, which I think is the biggest hurdle is knowing and believe that you can actually do more. We give them tricks on looking at how to deal with realtors, how to grow their business from their own network, but also not just relying on specific banks. So sometimes you have a broker who just know 3 banks and say that these are the 3 banks I work with, right? And I know these banks. I know these 3-4 banks, and that's what I'm comfortable doing. I don't want to do that. I want to give the best product for the client. So if a bank that you don't use or an institution that you don't use often is the best product for the client, well, we're going to redirect the client there. And you're going to save a lot more deals, because then you'll see a lot more policies. You'll understand that some banks will do a deal that you thought was not possible before.
Yeah.
And that you're not losing any deals that potentially in the past you would have lost. And so we give support on that end. We give coaching support. So we do have a specialized person who's a director of sales who helps the brokers with their own business, because every broker is different. Every maximum that a broker can do is different. Some people's 10 million, some people's 20 million, some people's 100 million. So really, we try to identify what their comfort level is, what they want to do, what their maximum they want to gain is, and encourage them and help them with different methods to get there. Now, what you're going to do for your business versus what somebody else is going to do for the business might be completely different. And it's really it's a customized type of discussion and program that we have, I'm Greek as you know, but I don't have that many clients in the Greek community. I'm supportive of the Greek community, but my Greek is not the best, so I can't do a mortgage in Greek. So, but I have other Greek colleagues who are much more implicated in the Greek community and do a lot more mortgages for the Greek population. And so my network of clients is very different than their network of clients, right? It's really work on your strengths and getting out there and pushing them past what they believed for many, many years was their limit, or, oh, this is what I can do. No, there's other things out there that you can do, and show them what they can do.
What's up les amis, j'espère que vous allez bien, j'espère que vous aimez cet épisode avec Teddy. Guys, ça prend énormément de temps pour produire des podcasts, donc j'apprécierais énormément si vous pouvez smasher le bouton like, commenter, laissez-moi savoir ce que vous avez appris de cet épisode et surtout partager avec les autres courtiers hypothécaires. Alors aujourd'hui, je commandite officiellement cet épisode. Pour les gens qui ne me connaissent pas, je suis un courtier hypothécaire qui travaille beaucoup avec d'autres courtiers hypothécaires. Donc, j'aide à trouver des solutions pour vos dossiers, que ce soit du alternatif ou privé. Vous pouvez me consulter et je peux être extrêmement efficace pour vous et pour vos clients. Alors maintenant, pourquoi utiliser mes services versus directement travailler avec les prêteurs? Il y a plusieurs raisons. La première raison, c'est que je sauve énormément de temps. Vous avez peut-être 1, 2, 3, 5 dossiers dans une année où vous avez besoin d'utiliser un prêteur privé ou un prêteur alternatif. Alors, ça va prendre plus de temps pour trouver une solution versus m'appeler et je vais être en mesure de vous aider tout de suite, trouver une solution tout de suite, car je fais une centaine de dossiers dans une année. La deuxième raison, votre client va avoir la meilleure solution pour sa situation. Étant donné que j'envoie plein de dossiers à mes prêteurs alternatifs et privés, je suis capable de demander certaines exceptions et d'être rapide, soit sur les conditions, soit sur le taux d'intérêt. Dernièrement, votre client reste votre client. Je m'occupe seulement de la partie alternative ou privée. Lorsque le client va devoir retourner vers les banques, comme vous le savez, les solutions alternatives ou privées, c'est seulement des solutions à court terme. Donc, lorsque le client va devoir retourner vers les banques, vous reprenez le client. Il y a tellement d'autres avantages de travailler avec moi. Appelez-moi, vous n'allez pas regretter. Appelez Monsieur Solution et je vous souhaite une excellente journée. Bon épisode. Dis-moi, c'est quoi la première barrière pour un courtier hypothécaire pour faire plus de volume? Par exemple, let's say someone who's doing 10 million, he wants to do 20.
Mhm.
Like, what do you see often? Like the first barrier.
Je pense que, comme j'ai dit tantôt, c'est le mindset qu'ils pensent qu'ils sont limités à un certain volume, mais ils sont confortables. Alors, quand il fait un 10 millions, c'est quand même une bonne revenu qu'ils gagnent. Ils sont confortables. Ils disent, je gagne un certain X montant de revenus, je suis bien. Alors, il arrête à pousser. Alors, même les gros producteurs qui commencent à faire 20 millions, 30 millions, souvent, ils ont un plateau à un certain niveau parce que pour amener à 30 millions, ils poussaient pour vraiment augmenter leur source de référence, va chercher plus de clients, ils poussaient, mais à un certain moment, il vient trop occupé. OK? Est-ce que c'est à 20 millions, 30 millions, 40 millions? À un certain moment, ils sont trop occupés. Alors, ils oublient de développer. Ils sont pas constants dans leur développement. Puis après ça, il dit, je veux juste gérer mes dossiers parce que j'ai juste des dossiers à gérer, je suis trop occupé. Ils savent pas comment se structurer avec un adjoint ou avec une équipe de souscription, avec une autre façon pour enlever des tâches de leur business, de l'hypothèque et dire, peut-être quelqu'un d'autre peut faire cet aspect-là de l'hypothèque et moi, je vais continuer à développer. Il faut que vous êtes constant de le développement des sources de référence pour développer la vente parce que si tu commences à ralentir, il y a beaucoup d'autres mondes qui vont prendre votre place et votre source de référence parce que c'est comme, on est tous des requins ici. Alors, si quelqu'un enlève pour 1 mois, 2 mois, arrête de faire le développement, mais il y a quelqu'un d'autre qui fait le développement, qui vont chercher vos sources de référence et vous allez perdre le business après.
Effectivement. Si tu travailles trop dans ta business et non sur ta business, évidemment, tu es un
exactement. Il faut que tu penses macro, pas toujours micro. Micro, c'est quand vous pensez pour chaque dossier et chaque condition de prêt, mais si vous pensez macro et vous mettez des buts, et pour moi, je travaille souvent avec les buts, OK? Et moi, je vais faire 30 millions cette année. OK, comment est-ce que vous allez se rendre là? Combien de dossiers est-ce que tu as besoin? Bon, je ne sais pas, mais c'est quoi ta moyenne? 300 000 par dossier. OK, 30 millions, c'est 100 dossiers. OK, pour avoir 100 dossiers, tu as besoin de combien de dossiers? Bon, je ne sais pas, mais c'est quoi votre taux d'approbation? C'est quoi votre your funding ratio? Dès que c'est approuvé, combien de dossiers est-ce que vous déboursez?
How many leads you have?
OK? Mais pour avoir une certaine approbation, disons, j'ai besoin de 150 dossiers pour faire 100. OK, mais tu as besoin de combien de leads pour avoir 150 dossiers? Bon, 300 leads. OK, parfait, tu as besoin d'un lead par jour. OK?
Yeah.
C'est comme ça.
A lot of brokers, they don't do that.
Alors, tu n'as pas besoin d'une application, tu as besoin d'un lead par jour.
Yeah.
OK? Quelqu'un qui est intéressé. Tu as besoin de 2 applications disons 3 applications par semaine. Parce que c'est 150 à l'année. Et tu veux faire 2 sur 3. Tu veux débourser 2 sur 3.
Yeah.
Alors, beaucoup de monde ne pense pas à côté macro, ne fait pas un game plan. Même à BMO, chaque année, je faisais un plan de ma volume, comment je vais se rendre là, c'est qui mes sources de référence importantes et le garder en contact toujours avec ces sources de référence.
Write that down. Like, guys, like I always tell every time in my podcast, like, write this down. This is like golden nuggets. Like, write your goals down. Like you said, like if you have partners, write like their names down and call them often.
And what are you going to do for them, right?
What are you going to do for them?
I know some people pay their realtors, they'll pay a certain amount of basis points per deal, but
what do you feel about that?
It's not all, it all depends on your business. It all depends on you and how you work and what you want to give. I never tell somebody what to pay. In my brokerage, we give advice for 25, 30 base points. I think is very fair. Now, I do some people pay a little bit more. I don't encourage them to pay a lot more than that. Do some people pay a little bit less? And again, it's their own business. And whatever the realtor, some realtors that we work with don't even want money. They just want take care of my client. Okay. And it's not only about the money. Money is there because that's the competitive market right now. The marketplace, there's a demand for it, and there's a supply of money that people are giving out for this. And so that, essentially you have to give it. But I think that realtors are very valuable and you should work with them. But again, if you work for a brokerage if you're making only 60 basis points on the deal, you're going to get 40 basis points for referral and end up with 20. It doesn't make any sense, right? So you have to really, manage that part of it. But also, if you're giving too much, it's not sustainable long term, because then you will have a deal that you're not going to make 100 basis points. You're going to make 60 basis points. You have to buy it on the rate, or you have to go to X lender that doesn't pay as much as the other lenders. And so if you made a commitment that I'm going to pay you 50 basis points on every deal, and then you're not making 100 on one, but making 60, or you make 10, or you're making less than 60 and you're not making any money, it doesn't make any sense.
What I did, so I took an Excel sheet and write down all the banks, how much they're giving, how much makes sense for $300,000 deal. So I know exactly the numbers, and something I did because I wanted to make a certain amount of volume. So I write everything down, and that helps a lot. And when you write everything down, and you understand how much do you need to live. For your expenses.
What do you? It's a business. Even your own brokers, I recommend it as you have gross revenue, you have marketing expenses. Because when you pay a commission, like I said before, it's a marketing expense. It's a direct expense. And then you have your other expenses, your credit bureau,
taxes.
You have office fees or whatever else you have. Your split, and you want to have a certain amount of money. But again, by paying realtors does not guarantee you volume. Every mortgage specialist at every bank used to, and still does through a different way of doing it, pays a realtor. But there's some mortgage specialists and banks that do 10 million or 5 million of volume, and some that do 120, 140 million dollars of volume. Why? Well, because the way they are. It's the same platform, the same bank, the same rates. Nothing's different. But it's not. Paying is just one of the tools that you have.
Yeah.
You have to have a full-rounded, a well-rounded structure to actually work with all these realtors and all these clients, because by doing one thing, it's not going to work. And doing it one thing once is not going to work. You have to do it consistently, many different things. And you know what? Not everything works. You're going to try some marketing activities and something, and it's not going to work. When I started as a mortgage specialist, I had a business plan that I wrote, and I said, I'm going to do this, and and Bank of Montreal gave me the LaSalle market, the Verdun LaSalle market. I really didn't. I've been there a few times to play hockey, but I did not know the area very, very well. So I drove around. I went to go look at different brokers, real estate brokers. I know who my competition was. I know all the mortgage specialists in the area. I know all the mortgage brokers in the area. And created my business, and I amended my business plan after trying many different things, because I said, I'm going to do these activities. 80% didn't work. I said, okay, let me keep those 20%. Let me add another 10 other activities I'll do. And then 80% of those don't work, but at least I had a certain amount every time that works. And you build on from that, right?
And talking about activities, what kind of activities you were doing?
I put ads in newspapers. That didn't work. I did some things that worked is I threw parties for realtors. So
that's creative.
I made an agreement with one of the offices, one of the Remaxes down there in LaSalle, and I rented an office there, and I paid a certain amount of money per month, which obviously when you're making zero money is not easy. I had a negative net worth back then. I invested into marketing, and so I said, you know what, I'm going to go for it. So I started renting an office there. I was sitting in the office all day. I was meeting every realtor, and then I was throwing different parties.
Every Friday?
No, not every Friday. No, I threw. I think we did a Scotch party. So a lot of those brokers like Scotch. So we brought some nice Scotch bottles, and we.
That's a great idea.
And I think that we did some pizza things. and with the bank as well, they helped you out. You had some events at the bank, but it was more my presence there. I think I was what, 24 years old, 25 years old. And I was just like, you know what? I don't have family. I don't have kids. I'm just going to be here from 8 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night. I'm going to sit in the office. I'm going to talk, not sitting in my office. I was walking around talking to people and just trying to get deals. And if I got one deal a week, I told myself, if I get one deal a week, which is $300,000, that's how it was a pretty good time back then, $300,000, and it's 50 weeks because I need to take 2 weeks of vacation. I'll do 15 million. And 15 million was double what I was making in the mortgage specialist field, double what I was making at the branch. I'm like, I'm good. Okay, I'm good if I just do that, right? And then so it started off with a goal of I want to make double my revenue what I'm doing at the bank, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, well, that's going pretty good. And then I build off and I had different goals at different stages of my life after that.
That's crazy. And I think it's a golden nugget. Parties, the mortgage brokers are. If you're listening to this, that's a
there's
great
a
way
lot of the realtors
connecting.
I started back in 2008, 2009 that I knew that are still great friends.
Yeah.
That still refer a ton of business to me. And now I've paired that with different mortgage brokers in my office, and so they're going to me through Orbitz, but it's really my brokers who are benefiting there, and as a whole we are all benefiting. And so the relationships are not just fake relationships; they're real relationships. I've seen these real estate brokers, or not just real estate brokers, like insurance brokers, financial planners. I've seen them, go through marriages, and I've been to their marriages. I've seen them, have kids, and when they have kids, I send a little thing. I send them something for Christmas. A little wine basket, or one little wine with a food basket or something, And so always stay in touch with them.
Yeah.
And being consistent with them is very key. And without that consistency, you're going to lose them because somebody else will bring them to the hockey game, which, I do bring them to the hockey game. We'll bring them to the hockey game and say, you know what, let me give them a deal. And always in this business, at one time or another, somebody's going to make a mistake, right? And if you don't have a solid relationship, not a mistake, or the bank takes time or something happens in the industry, it's inevitable. But if you don't have solid relationships, A, with the bank or B, with the realtor, nobody's going to care about you. You're going to lose that realtor for life. The bank's not going to support you. But if you have a solid relationships, you explain the realtor the transparency of what the situation is, talk to the bank, you're going to figure out the situation, and you won't lose the realtor long term.
This is very important. And I was talking about this last time with another podcast. Like those relationships is like you have to take care of those relationships like you were taking care of your girlfriend.
Listen,
it's a love relationship,
I had a girlfriend back then. I probably spent more time with the realtors. I still have a girlfriend, but realtors.
I don't recommend it, but
yeah, than her, right? And now we're married and everything. But on my end, it's listen. With our technology right now, it's even easier. Before I had to go I went for a million coffees a day. I think I did like 5-6 coffees a day. Because we're right next to Tim Hortons, so we always go to Tim Hortons.
We're on fire. That means
yeah. Listen,
all those coffees.
And I was like there, and I was lunches, coffees. I was really out there, but right now you can Zoom somebody. There was no Zoom back then. Right now, even text messaging wasn't that big back then, right?
You can send them a gift card
online.
Online.
There's so many more tools right now.
Yeah.
That makes you accelerate your process to being a mortgage broker, and especially in the mortgage broker field, and growing your volume. If you have the will and if you have the constant. You have to be constant. If you go after a realtor and, you go talk to them on a Thursday and then next week you're like, oh, I talked to them. You didn't send me a deal yet. Don't talk to one, talk to 100. Okay. And then eventually they will send you deals if you're consistent with them. But don't expect them 100 to send you deals the next week. It's not going to work like that. They have their relationships already established. But, if a realtor would tell me, oh, I have my guys established, no problem. If ever you have problems, if ever he's on a vacation, if ever he's tired, give me a call. I'm there for you. Okay. Let me be your number 2. I'm okay to be the number 2. Okay. But I know that I'm going to be your number 1 eventually.
For now.
But let me for now be your number 2. And then that's how a lot of relationships started, where could you help me on this deal, Teddy, that, the bank refused or whatever. no problem. Let me put that's when my analytical skills were very important and my knowledge of BMO and how that everything worked. And then right now as a broker, my knowledge of all the banks and how that works is because once you get that deal, you have to fund that deal, to find your solution to close that deal.
Yeah. Une autre croquette. Une autre croquette, that's how we say it in French, right? Golden nuggets, une autre croquette.
Une autre croquette.
Write it down, guys. It's very important. I think it's very, very, very interesting how you should run business. And we were talking about like you have a deal now with Via Capital.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about how you build your relationship with realtors, it feels like you did the same thing with Via Capital. Like it's another level, but the same thing. You went on lunches and
it's essentially with whoever you have.
Yeah.
You want to deal with. And this is the exact same thing from building your business to referral sources. Don't be intimidated. Think bigger, right? Think past your limitations, right? If somebody does not think that, they can go to a certain level, then they're never going to go that level. But if you believe I can go that level and push for that level, you're going to go to it. So, yeah, we do have a deal with Via Capital.
En passant, pour les gens qui savent pas de quoi qu'on parle, Teddy, il y a une entente corporative avec la bannière Via Capital.
Avec Groupe Orbis et Via Capital. On fait les dossiers pour les courtiers hypothécaires.
Ouais.
Ils ont des ententes avec un couple des prêteurs individuels, mais pour les dossiers alternatifs privés et les autres prêteurs qui n'ont pas accès, nous autres, on est là pour les supporter.
You're like a number 2, but eventually you will become a number 1 because they're...
and I think it's going very, very well.
Congrats, by the way.
For my mortgage brokers, c'est excellent pour mes courtiers parce que les autres, ils ont accès à des courtiers qui n'avaient pas accès avant. La porte est vraiment grandement ouverte pour eux.
La porte est ouverte, puis eux, ils doivent juste bâtir les relations.
Pour aller bâtir la relation. Et vraiment, on a créé même des présentations pour eux autres pour faire dans les bureaux. On est vraiment impliqué avec Via. Et mes courtiers ont des ententes avec toutes sortes des courtiers immobiliers, pas juste Via, mais ça les aide. Quand une entente coopérative, ça les aide pour rentrer.
Absolument. Et donc, tu mets beaucoup l'emphase sur les courtiers immobiliers. Je pense que tes courtiers aussi, ils bénéficient de tout ça. Ils bénéficient de tout ça.
Oui.
That's how you say it?
Bénéficie.
Bénéficie.
Ouais.
Sorry, guys. But what I mean by that is, donc, c'est comment que les courtiers hypothécaires amènent la valeur. Tu parlais de la présentation. On parle de quoi pour amener autant de valeur aux courtiers pour que les courtiers travaillent?
Tu parles des courtiers immobiliers?
Exactement.
Ben, c'est pour montrer qu'il y a des autres produits qu'ils ne savent même pas. Un exemple des produits alternatifs avec Aquita, Home Trust, Haventree, même BDB, avec eux autres. Les autres, les courtiers immobiliers, ils travaillent avec les banques directement, avec le BMO, avec les Desjardins, avec le national, elles sont directement avec eux autres. Mais si les autres ont un dossier que c'est un travail autonome, qui ne déclare pas assez de revenus, que les autres façons de faire le dossier, ils ne savent pas que ce produit-là est disponible. Ils pensent que c'est un dossier perdu. C'est un dossier que j'ai fait un offre d'achat dans ce contexte de notre immobilier. Ils ont finalement, j'ai l'offre d'achat acceptée. Ils ont travaillé tellement fort pour avoir cette offre d'achat acceptée, puis là, ça ne marche pas avec la banque. Pour X, Y, Z raison. Mais là, on montre des options. On démontre les options. On démontre que avec nous autres, on peut gagner du temps aussi parce que immédiatement, quand on a un dossier, on sait où on devra savoir où le dossier devra aller. Est-ce que c'est un dossier des TD? Est-ce que c'est un dossier SCOSA? C'est un dossier Haventree, Home Trust, Aquita? On sait exactement où le dossier va. Alors, on ne devine pas. Avec avec les démarcheurs de la banque, les autres poussent leur dossier. Moi, j'étais de la même façon. J'avais un dossier, je poussais mon dossier à ma banque, je demandais des exceptions à ma banque, et je ne voulais pas perdre un dossier. J'étais très agressif. Mais dans notre domaine, c'est pas... Oui, c'est demander des exceptions de temps en temps, mais c'est mieux comme... Oh non, ce dossier-là, c'est mieux positionné pour une certaine banque, pour une certaine institution, parce que c'est pas d'exception pour eux autres.
Ouais.
Avec une autre banque, c'est une exception. Alors, si on travaille intelligemment et on est capable de bien diriger le dossier, on va gagner du temps dans le processus. On ne va pas faire une erreur, on ne va pas refuser un dossier. On va s'assurer que le client Et dans ces quoi, c'est 10 jours, 15 jours qu'il donne maintenant pour voir le financement. Il ne gaspille pas son temps. On est vraiment là. Et aussi, en même temps, donner le meilleur taux pour le client, pour son situation. Alors, si c'est un client avec une FICO en bas de 600, c'est quand même une alternative, mais au moins, on donne pour son situation le meilleur taux pour lui.
Exact. Hey, un autre croquette. T'as dit, t'envoies trop de croquettes, là. C'est bon. Really great. I love it. And let's talk about like database. Like I know like as a broker, you need to concentrate on working on your database. Like your past clients, new clients, you can't neglect them, right? So what did you do like when you were with BMO, and what are you doing now to work on your database? You know, we say that money is in the list. You know, what do you do exactly?
It's a great question.
Thank you.
I think a lot of that has to do with what I've done in the past. So when I was at BMO, you know, everything was an Excel sheet. Okay, this is like 2011, 2012. Everything was an Excel sheet. I actually had one assistant that I hired, who's now an underwriter on my team, but she worked with me at BMO, and her job was manage the Excel sheet. So eventually, I'm like, I'm having somebody manage the Excel sheet more for deal flow, right? So then I said, okay, I investigated and I found Salesforce.com, and I basically a CRM called Salesforce, and I invested a ton of money back then into Salesforce to make it compatible to my business back then. So it was great. It worked very, very well, and at the same time, I did keep my database of clients that when I was at BMO. I did have different specific maturity dates and whatever. And that database obviously is a little older now, but no, when I came to the mortgage broker business and everything, I said, you know what, I'm going to use Salesforce, but I'm going to use it, and I completely transformed it. I put a ton of money into Salesforce, but now, number one, it helps the brokers track the maturities of every loan that they have. So, and it doesn't track it a month before maturing. It tracks many, many months. So I think we try around 9 months before to contact a client, really for the maturing mortgages. It tracks also all the other deals that they have. So let's say the client has one mortgage, but 4 of the mortgages are other institutions. You put those 4 mortgages in the system, boom, it tracks all those 4 mortgages. So essentially, you're tracking everything the client has, all his mortgages that he has, creating yourself a pipeline. But if you have a pipeline and you don't do anything with it, it's useless. You can throw it in the garbage. It's really, you have to have activities planned of what you're going to do and touch base with your clients, because the majority of mortgages don't make it to term, especially at the rates they are right now. They don't make it to term. They will, after 3 years, they'll break it. After 2 years, they'll break it. After 4 years, So I encourage my brokers to touch base with their clients. Do you once a year, send a gift card for, $5 for coffee for all your clients? Do you, give them a call. Say, listen, how are you doing? How's the mortgage? I know we did your mortgage last year. How's everything with your mortgage? You have any other plans? I have some debt, $30,000 of debt. Okay, great. You know what? You have another mortgage, you have another property that I remember last time, and you had some equity. Why don't we look at it, maybe refinancing, paying off your debt? Good idea, or my roof went and I need some money. Okay, let's find a different way of doing that. So if you keep in touch with these clients, this is gold, because you're not, we talked about realtors earlier. You're paid for referrals. You're not paying anything. This is your own network of clients and everything. And so you could really make a ton of money with this. You can help the clients long term.
Sure.
And really, instead of them walking into their specific institution thinking that's the best rate in the market, you give them a macro perspective of the whole market.
What about like a guy like you who were making like $250 a year, and now you don't have time to call every client and ask them, hey, what about your?
Yeah,
do I
do have a team who helps me out with that.
Okay,
yeah.
so you have someone who calls everyone.
Clients from 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they'll call them and
so
they'll touch base with them, and they have a list, and so we do that.
So if I understand, like
but also a lot of my clients, just another perspective, because I've touched base with them so long, they actually. Like a lot of my clients will do, like I've done like 3-4 mortgages for them, right? And so they'll just touch base with me directly and say, oh, I have another one coming up. Could you take a look at it? It's almost like we're proactive, but also because I've built such a network of clients that they are they do come to you, right? So, but long term, you do have to touch base with them because people do forget your name.
Yeah.
If they're not direct friends, very easily. From realtors, from clients, they forget even who did your mortgage 2 years ago. Which you spent 1 week with them on a phone every day, but then they forget your name. But it happens.
It happens.
Okay, and you have to touch base with them. I have a team that helps me out with that, and then we do have a process how we can do it internally here.
And if I can help you guys, what I do is every month I send like an email.
Yes,
like small video.
We do have a. Well, I saw your bomb, which is a good idea. No, but we do have a newsletter that goes out to them.
Okay,
on a bi-weekly basis, actually.
Really nice. So, as a mortgage broker, we're dealing with a lot of clients. You want to scale up your business, you can send a video like every week and talk about the mortgage business, mortgage news, and just make a video and just send it to everyone. And in that way, you're actually connecting with them,
Yeah.
So
and we try to create content for all the brokers here, so we encourage them to do that as well.
What kind of content do you guys are?
So we do have a content marketing manager here
Okay.
that based on the events of the week or every 2 weeks, we'll have a conversation what's important, and she'll write it up, and then we'll send basically a newsletter, and then my brokers often will share it from their own networks, and they can brand it their own way, but they'll share it with their own network. The content is a lot of it's market focused. We look at what's happening in the market from the Bank of Canada, from OSFI, but also just general tips. Sometimes we'll just do like
That's nice.
5 important things for your mortgage and some general information. Video, I think, is important. We try to do some videos once in a while. I think videos are very rare, but consistency, right? If you're consistent, then you'll be able to continue doing it. If you do one newsletter every 6 months, if you just send a newsletter for Christmas or for the holidays and say, happy holidays at December 15th, in June they won't know your name. Okay,
Yeah,
don't do that.
about it.
You have to be
Yeah.
consistent in how you do it.
Definitely, yeah. Thank you so much. Great advice. Let's talk about stagiaire. Something new. Et l'AMF.
Stagiaire, oui.
Yeah. Je pense que c'est tellement nouveau que même les superviseurs, même les cabinets, ils savent pas comment dealer avec ça. Vous avez une académie.
Oui.
Alors,
Académie Orbis, c'est ça.
Orbis, exactement. Une académie Orbis. So you guys really concentrate on how to build great brokers.
Yeah.
How exactly a stagiaire can prepare himself? What's the steps to finish a stage, I guess? So tell me about it.
Avec l'AMF, je pense que c'est très bon de qu'est-ce qu'ils ont fait. Ils ont mis un stage de 12 semaines. Dès que vous avez fait l'examen, vous avez passé, quand tu commences à être courtier, tu n'as pas vraiment un certificat pour 12 semaines. Il faut que vous complétez un certain nombre d'heures et être capable d'avoir des connaissances. On n'avait pas ça avant. Avec l'OASIC, c'était vraiment direct. Tout de suite, quand tu avais ton permis, tu pouvais commencer. Je pense que de notre bord, on a pris ça, puis on a dit, OK, on va créer un programme. Pour moi, les étapes, pour 12 semaines, c'est quand même un très bon temps qu'une courtier qui commence, mais aussi une spécialiste hypothécaire qui veut transférer un courtier hypothécaire, qui commence et les connaissances qu'il devrait avoir. Alors, je travaille avec mon équipe, j'ai une très bonne équipe, on a beaucoup d'expérience à l'interne, qui quand même dit, OK, c'est quoi les aspects importants pour un courtier? Alors, on a vraiment fait un breakdown pour chaque aspect. Oui, les prêteurs, alors chaque prêteur a une certaine journée, mais chaque aspect, comment est-ce que tu vas parler avec le client? Comment est-ce que tu vas faire un plan d'action? C'est quoi ton plan d'action? Mais comment vas-tu faire un plan d'action? Comment est-ce que tu veux procéder si le client veut un prêt privé? Alors, tous les différents aspects qu'on a pris, on a mis ça dans des différents jours. On a fait, on a des enregistrements que le monde peut regarder plusieurs fois. On fait des lives aussi avec les courtiers. On a des superviseurs. C'est certain que chacun a un superviseur qui le suit durant le processus. Mais le superviseur n'est pas tout seul. Il a tout un aspect à côté qui l'aide pour expliquer. Il ne peut pas oublier parce que souvent, tu oublies les aspects. Alors, quand quelqu'un commence, ou même avant de commencer, ils n'ont aucune vraiment connaissance de notre industrie. Ils ont un dossier, peut-être, quand ils commencent. Ils ne savent pas où envoyer. Ils ne savent pas quelle banque c'est la meilleure banque de l'envoyer. Alors, on a un processus pour l'aider à faire ça. Alors, un processus avec une équipe de souscription, avec notre superviseur pour l'aider à faire ça et l'aider à vraiment commencer au début. Mais je pense que la meilleure façon de commencer, c'est vraiment de regarder beaucoup de dossiers, de voir les dossiers, même si tu n'es pas payé, d'être autour du monde qui ont des dossiers,
Effectivement.
avec l'expérience avec les dossiers. Alors, j'ai eu des souscripteurs qui ont vraiment bien fait, comme des souscripteurs qui ont devenu des courtiers hypothécaires. J'ai eu des adjoints qui ont fait ça. Alors, si tu veux vraiment aller dans ce domaine-là, c'est vraiment de s'impliquer et de regarder des dossiers, mais aussi comme lire beaucoup de livres sur les différents aspects du domaine. Alors, lire, apprendre. Moi, quand j'ai commencé, je pense que j'ai lu comme 10 livres sur des courtiers hypothécaires, les ventes.
I'm pretty sure you went through Be the Better Broker.
No, that was
okay.
The book came out after I became a broker, but no,
you know what I'm talking about, right? Dustin Woodhouse.
But this is 2007, 2008. Yeah, okay. You know? But no, Be the Better Broker. I've read that, but I think reading and educating yourself is really important. But then also getting experience with different files and just listening, being around and listening, understanding why are we going to TD Bank with this mortgage, and then how do we explain this to the clients? How do you explain the suitability, les analyses des besoins pour un client, the suitability, and then how do you explain the mandate and le contrat de courtage? Just learning that is one day. Learning how to talk to a client about contrat de courtage, les obligations qu'on doit divulguer à des clients. Alors, on a fait un breakdown de chacune des étapes pour un prêt et expliquer chaque étape en détail. Pour que la personne puisse comprendre et apprendre. On a aussi des meetings à chaque semaine avec l'équipe pour apprendre. Alors, beaucoup de monde, pas juste les stagiaires, mais tout le monde sont dans les meetings. Alors, on apprend ensemble. Maintenant, c'est par Zoom. Alors, tout est fait par Zoom. Mais c'est vraiment... tout le monde amène des aspects différents. Alors, quelqu'un dit « Ah, j'ai un dossier comme ça cette semaine. Comment est-ce que vous pensez que je devrais la faire? » On a 5-6 différentes opinions comment faire le dossier. On a un chat sur WhatsApp à l'interne qu'on partage des affaires aussi. C'est beaucoup de travail en équipe. Si tu travailles en équipe, là, vous allez apprendre beaucoup parce que les choses que même moi, j'apprends à chaque jour. Moi, je ne connais pas tout. Là.
Ouais.
J'apprends de tout. Même les courtiers, peut-être un certain courtier, c'est quelque chose que personne ne sait. On partage ça. On encourage beaucoup que le monde partage les affaires.
Une des raisons pourquoi j'ai commencé le podcast, c'est pour partager. Parce que, I was fortunate enough to have great leaders, great mortgage brokers to learn from, but not everyone has that opportunity.
No.
So having you talking to me, I'm sharing with others, man, they're going to love it. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of people will.
Not a problem.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you so much. And people, guys, if you're listening to this, take down notes, apply it. It's really important because it's one thing listening and another thing applying what you learn. And you can read a lot of books, but if you're not applying it.
No, you can read everything, but it's really, you need a combination. I know some really smart people that tried to be mortgage specialists and mortgage brokers that didn't succeed. Why? Because they just didn't have the knack for how to deal with the client. They knew everything, through books and everything, but not exactly how to apply it to a client. And other people who are really good at clients, but have no idea on the back end. I think you need to have a little bit of both. You need to work as a team and support. And I think that, from my perspective, we instituted an underwriting team, and that for me is key because you have to concentrate your time on getting business. Like as a mortgage broker, your value is getting business. It's not in seeing what condition Home Trust puts on the commitment letter. And yes, you want to fund your deals, you want to understand the conditions, you want to fight for your client, but your value is getting business. So have a team where you're able to take off some of the time that is needed in the process and leverage your time okay? And then you can dedicate more time to business development and more time to getting more leads.
Definitely.
And we talked about at the beginning, the leads are the key thing.
Yeah.
If you increase your amount of leads, I know everybody's approval ratios. I know everybody's funding ratios. I know everybody's conversion ratios from a lead to a deal. If you're within the average of everything, okay, they need to increase more leads. But if you're not approving nothing, then that's a credit discussion. Yeah. But if you're not funding after approving, so I think we have a 95% funding after approval ratio. Well, if you're not funding after approving the deal, then you're not doing something right, because our firm has a much higher approval ratio, and then there's something you're doing wrong. And so let's analyze what you're doing wrong. And that's for the stagiaires. We explain that process to them, and it's different even for mortgage specialists. Like we talked about coming to becoming mortgage brokers. They really need to know everything.
Yeah,
they are very good at sales. If you're a mortgage specialist doing 60 million out of the bank, you're good at sales. Like you are
100%.
You're a hard worker. You're good at sales. You're going to get it.
This guy is selling one bank,
yeah,
and he's doing great at it.
And so, but let's apply that
yeah.
to the structure that we have here in the broker field. Let's look at what works. Okay, these are the aspects that work. So you concentrate on what your strength is. Your strength is getting the business and developing. We're going to help you fund everything else and do everything else with you. And so if we work as a team, and that's the whole mindset here, is working as a team. And working as one to the goal, and not losing any deals is really the mindset that we have, and it's an aggressive mindset. That's not for everybody. If somebody wants to just, I'm good doing 5-6 million a year, I do that, and I'm making 50-60 grand a year, I'm happy with that. Good luck. Like that's great, but in my type of environment, I really want somebody to push to their maximum and going to. What is it? 15 million? Is it 25 million? I don't know what your maximum is. But we're going to go to your maximum. We're going to get the max out of you, and I will bring every tool necessary that we're going to do that there.
Mm-hmm. Puis une des choses que j'ai faites pour augmenter mon volume, parce que moi je suis une tortue avec la paperasse.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm so slow. And what I did is I hired someone who was taking care of all that, and he helped me bring more business. And so me personally, I have a team behind me that helped me like do more. That's you key. And what you did with your firm is you have a team that does only that for your brokers. So those brokers can get to another level instead of hiring by themselves all those people.
Well, it came because when I was working at BMO as a mortgage specialist, so first year I had a really good year, the 39 million, right? But I was not sleeping. I was just doing, and don't forget, back then the average ticket size was a little bit less, so probably it was 275 my average ticket size. So it was just like I'm like, I can't do this. I got maxed out. So then I hired somebody. I had an assistant, and it was my stepbrother who actually worked at the bank. And I said, I need your help. So he came and joined me. And basically I doubled my volume the following year because I had somebody who supported me. So I'm like, you know what? Okay, now I get this. And then I hired another one. Then I hired another one. My volume kept on going up. But as I hired people, I understood like a structure. And that's what I wanted. And again, at the end, we mentioned I had 6 assistants. And I said, you know what? This model works. It worked for me. So I want to bring this model to the mortgage broker space, because in the US, this is how it works. There's an underwriting team, the loan officers, they call them. They go out and get business, okay? And then there's a whole underwriting team, there's a loan processor, they name it. And it's a whole different structure there where everybody works together. And that's why people can do $150, $200 million in the States, because they have a whole team behind them. Yeah. They're not making top volume at that, but they're able, or else they'd be maxed out at 39.
Yeah.
They're able to go to a different level. And so I brought this structure, and I believe it helps people, and it does help people leverage their time.
Mm-hmm.
Concentrate on what brings you money. And the clients, you're closer to the clients. You're closer to the realtors because you have a lot more time. And the back end, we have infrastructure that creates that.
There's a quote I really love. Are you in the business of processing deals or prospecting deals?
Yes.
And I'm in the business of prospecting, and a lot of brokers are in the business of processing.
Yeah.
It's two different worlds. And that's why I specialize in B lending and private lending, where I receive brokers and I help brokers fund their deals because they don't have time or don't have the expertise. So you're doing the same thing for your brokers actually by having a team that help brokers.
Our process really helps the brokers not only leverage their time, but also leverage their knowledge. There's 20 banks out there that you have to know your information about.
It's a lot.
Okay. And plus private lenders. And so there's a ton of them. Okay. Now, do I expect you to know everything about every single bank? And you do one deal a year there, if that, or one deal every 2 years there because they don't know them. You won't know everything about every single bank.
Yeah.
But my underwriting team, they process 5 times more deals than you if you're a good one, and 10 times or 20 times more if you're, if you have less volume. And they will not do the one time a year at a certain bank, but they might do it once every 2 weeks at that bank, right? And so they know the bank a lot better. They know the underwriters there. There's efficiency, and with Symbic, they push efficiency, and we want to be efficient, so they know who to speak to, what is the policies of the bank. So if a certain bank you don't know about, use the underwriting team, and they will be able to fund your deal more efficiently than you would, and you can leverage your time, and you can go out and get another deal. And so I want it to be like a hub of knowledge, and not just a place where, so I can get top status, I have to go through this, this person or whatever. No, it's not for that. It's really for knowledge and creating efficiency. So if you want to be an expert, well, you don't want to have people around you. And that's my company as well is I want to have the best of everything. And so I can't do everything by myself. I want to have the best marketing team. I want to have the best sales team, the best underwriting team. And I want to hire the right people in those roles. And so as a company, I don't do everything. Well, as a mortgage broker, you shouldn't do everything either. I think you should concentrate on what you're good at. Like if you're good at underwriting, then stick to underwriting and have somebody else who's going to maybe partner with the mortgage broker who's really good at sales. You guys work together. One person does underwriting, one person does sales.
Yeah.
Might be a good way of doing it.
Yeah.
But you concentrate on your strength because you're going to do it faster and better than somebody else.
Mot-clé, concentrate, and do what you're great at and delegate everything else.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Let's go. I was just telling one of my favorite quotes is, "Are you in the business of processing deals or prospecting deals?" What's yours?
It's right up here. There's always room in your life for thinking bigger, pushing limits, imagining the unimaginable. Okay, by Tony Robbins. So I think that for some aspects, Tony's very, very good, and I think
we're gonna take a shot about this after. Yeah.
And it's I put on the wall because I believe it's a great. There's many different quotes out there. I saw this quote, I liked it, and I think that just make yourself past that level of life where you think this is my max. And whatever you do, whether it's mortgages, whether it's real estate, whether it's your personal life, you put yourself a fake limit.
Yeah.
Imagine yourself the unimaginable, where you're going above that. Then you can think bigger. Then you could actually get there. If you don't think yourself you can be there, you're not going to go there.
You're the perfect example. Like you started, obviously you were a mortgage specialist before. You know the business of mortgages, but you started just 3 years ago.
3 years ago we started with basically myself.
Yeah, exactly.
A few other people, and we grew it from there. I had a couple people that helped me out start at the beginning, and we had the same vision, and we grew it, and it's really at the beginning, a lot of people were saying, why are you leaving a bank making X amount of money to start a brokerage? What are you doing here? But I had it in my mind. I wanted something. I wanted to create something, and I still have it. I still have ambitions, and I have certain goals that I want to achieve, and I want people around me to have that same mindset as well.
That's great.
That they want to achieve within their own network, they have personal goals, right? Let's go get those personal goals. And I encourage everybody to get to their max that they can there.
You're the perfect example. Like you could have done it, like some people like take 10 years, 15 years to start their own brokerage after experience because they told themselves that they couldn't do it. They need more experience. Mm-hmm. You started 3 years before. Yeah. And look at you now.
Thank
and
you.
The same goes for mortgage brokers who wants to like do 50 millions of volume, 60 millions of volume.
Yeah.
Write it down and examine it. And
write down your goals.
Write down the goals.
Is it a dollar amount? Is it a mortgage amount? Is it $100,000 and you want to make a salary? And then you want to make $200,000 and then you make $500,000? you write down your goals, okay? And if you don't write it down, you're gonna. But let's say you write down, I want to make $500,000, and you only hit 90% of that. Well, that's pretty good.
That's very good.
That's pretty good,
Yeah.
okay? But if you don't write that, I bet you're not gonna get there.
Yeah,
okay?
and you don't even know. You can't even break it down.
Yeah.
Like if you write a number and that's $500,000, break it down. Okay, how many leads do I need? How many files you have to close? How many partners you have to have?
Analyze on a weekly basis how many leads people get, right? And so everybody knows what their leads
Yeah.
are. Like you got 5 leads last week. That's great because you have to keep on doing 5. You keyed in 5 applications last week, and so if you keep on this trend, you're gonna hit X amount of volume, right? And so we know what the ratios are, but we know like when they key it in what they're at, and that's important to know your numbers. If you don't know your numbers, you can't get to your goals. Have a goal, know your numbers, how to get to your goals. And build yourself a plan on how to do that. Not everything's going to work. Okay. A lot of 80-20 rule.
80-20
80% of the stuff you do is not going to work. Okay. But the 20%, keep on pushing the 20%.
Not cool, kid. All right, Teddy, let's talk about, I know you love books.
Yeah.
Maybe podcasts beside mine, obviously.
Podcast books. I listen to The Economist podcast.
Economist, okay.
Yeah.
What do you like about Economist? You're the first person who's saying that.
Listen, there's 2 podcasts for The Economist. There's one that's like a 5-minute thing every morning. It gives you a perspective on the world, which is good to have a perspective.
Especially as a mortgage broker, we should have.
Yeah, and I like to just not have knowledge of the whole world, and then another one of a perspective. It's a little more depth perspective of the world as well. But having knowledge not just within your city, your country, but everywhere is for me. I like that. I think there's a Tim Ferriss podcast. I listen to a lot of Tim Ferriss. I think from that perspective, he's been very, very good. He has some great people on that. I do have a hockey background, so to listen to some Spitting Chicklets once in a while there. But my good friend was on the other day. But so I listen to that. But I do read some books.
Are you a Habs fan?
Of course, I'm from Montreal.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Go Habs there, right?
They're winning, yeah.
Yeah.
And what about a book? Like a book for a mortgage broker you should
recommend? Over the years I get different books, and I don't have any specific mortgage book. I think Be a Better Broker, you said, was a
really good
mortgage broker. But I think from a business perspective, From Good to Great by Jim Collins is really, really good.
Yeah.
I think it shows you what the difference between a good company and a great company is, and how they, there are minimal things, but there's a big difference. From Winning by Jack Welch is really good. He ran GM for a long time, and he was really amazing at it, and just how he thought about it and how he did it. And the Snowball Effect by Warren Buffett is another great book that I read. And,
never read that.
There's some great books. I like to get myself out of the broker business once in a while to think macro about my whole business as a whole. But it's important that to get outside and get yourself well-rounded as well.
Last question before we play a small game. Where do you see yourself in 5 years with Groupe Orbis as a leader, as a mortgage broker?
I'm very ambitious. I believe that we are recruiting the right people with the right mindset.
Yeah.
Now, volume wise, I just want to push whatever the max that we can do here, right? And that's whether it be Quebec or Canada as a whole. I think that we want to bring our platform everywhere. And I'm truly focused on giving the most to each mortgage broker and bettering their own volume. So in 5 years, I really want to have my brokers maximize their volume, and it's going to help us. So the long-term kids will have more volume. Specific goals, it's hard to get specific goals, but it's really, I'm not going to stop off at 45 brokers. I want to push it and grow it to the max that I can.
100, 200, 300.
We'll see. We'll see. When we get there,
I'm pretty sure you're gonna make it if you have that goal. Like you said, you're a hustler.
Yeah. Listen, and I've always been a hustler, and when I was even from very young, I hustled in different aspects of my life. But when I started at BMO, the top person was doing 50 million. They said, I said I want to be the top person, and I said I'm going to do 100 million. And they're like, well, that's impossible. The top person does 50. And then boom, 3 years later, did 100. And so it was more like, if I set a goal, I really want to do it. And I dedicate myself to doing that. I have the same mentality here, but I think that there is some space for a brokerage like myself in the field, in Quebec and in Canada, and so we want to grow the right way, not just buying different brokerages. We want to have the right people join with the right mindset, with the right vision, with the right values. It's very
Sure.
important.
So you want to go to Ontario and the rest of Canada?
Yeah, we'll see. Well, I want to do well in Quebec first, and then we'll venture out in the different provinces if it gets there. If not, I'm very happy in Quebec.
Of course.
I love it here.
Okay, Teddy, let's wrap it up. Thank you so much for your time. Let's play a small game. So I'm going to tell you a word and tell me what's come to your mind when I say that word, okay? So let's start about, let's say I say taux. And you could say that's the best deal for the client.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's start with leadership.
Navy SEALs.
Navy
So,
SEALs.
Yes. So
Okay.
I actually
Surprise.
I have a mentor coach who's the sergeant in the Navy SEALs.
Okay.
I speak to him once in a while, and we talk about leadership all the time. So it's they're really focused on corporate culture and leadership, and
Yeah.
I discuss with them all the time.
Marines, Navy SEALs, they're very, very they're disciplined.
Very disciplined, exactly, and have a clear vision of what they want.
I like it. I love it. Go Orbis.
A quality, professional, efficient mortgage brokerage that defines the industry and brings a persona of professionalism once again to the industry, where our profession is looked upon with great class and is a hybrid between a bank and a existing model mortgage brokerage.
And you didn't write that down. You just came up with that. Wow, amazing. And let's wrap it up with competition.
It's healthy. That creates more products for us, more lenders for us, and even betters ourselves. So I like competition, and that's what drives innovation. And so I think right now we're in an innovative type of industry, and the more competition, the better, because then it's going to better myself as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Teddy. Thank you for your time. I'm pretty sure, je pense que tous les courtiers hypothécaires du Québec vont aimer, puis parce qu'on parle en anglais.
Ouais,
Même en Ontario, il y en a qui vont écouter et vont dire de quoi qu'ils parlent eux. They don't understand.
Pas d'anglais, français.
Ouais.
Pas le grec aujourd'hui.
Pas le grec, pas le tamoul non plus. Donc, Teddy, thank you so much. Thank you for your
Merci
time.
beaucoup. Merci à tout le monde.